Hello you sex beast, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk a little bit about Enlisted, a new project currently being developed by Gaijin, the makers of War Thunder. A couple of days ago on the official Gaijin channel we've had a little teaser being posted on there, leading to a site that had a countdown, all very secretive, all very epic. All we had was a little live action trailer of a T-34 being not taken down by a German soldier with a Panzerfaust or a Panzerwerfer. Now, just about 1 hour ago, the countdown has finally ended and the big secret has been revealed. Sadly, it is nothing really to do with War Thunder, as many people have hoped. Instead, it's a whole new game. Yes. Now, this game is not being developed by Gaijin directly. Instead, it's developed by a company named Darkflow Software. There is very little information on this company, which kind of smells a bit fishy to me, let's just say that. I have found no information on the company on Google or anywhere really. It seems like it's a new, from what I understand, it's a new company that involves some former Gaijin developers. But they don't seem to have any experience with first-person shooters games, and that's one of the first problems I have with this. But before we go to problems, let's talk a little bit about what this is all about. So, Enlisted seems to be a massively multiplayer online shooter. It's made on the Dagor Engine, which is the same engine as War Thunder is currently playing on, and instead of being one big game, it separates into separate campaigns. Apparently it's going to be a little bit of a hardcore, more realistic type shooter with some tactical and strategical elements to it, rather than just being a pure arena shooter where the focus is to kill as many enemies as you can. Here you will have to work together and form strategies to actually take objectives, take areas, and so on. Recreate essentially the famous battles of World War II. In fact, from what it seems, you can even take control of some units and play those until you either complete your objectives or every single element in that unit dies. Now, there are talks of skill-based matchmaking and anti-cheat systems. The game is going to be primarily a first-person view, although the option for a third-person view is currently in the game. There's no hard limit on how many players there are in the game just yet. The maximum dev was about 120 to 150 soldiers, so that's what we might see, although keep in mind this is just a very early crowdfunder information, so there isn't really any proper hard information on the game just yet. Now, the anti-cheat system is implemented and the basic game mechanics are calculated on the server side. Now, this is good and this is bad. On one side, having your core game mechanics calculated on the server means that it's going to be very hard to cheat. Things like speed hacks, damage hacks, aimbots, stuff like that. At the same time though, it can create big issues with lag and latency if your servers are not up to scratch. And this is something that we can see in War Thunder right now, where most of the calculations are also held on the server side. But since the servers cannot really handle what is going on right now with all the, well, air battles, tank battles and sea battles being going on at the same time, we have those famous sparks on aircraft, we have shells bouncing on tanks, shells disappearing on tanks. Ships, for the most part, haven't really had many problems, but in the end, it was only a couple of beta tests. So, this is a problem, actually. You see, in War Thunder, it's already quite annoying when you get sparks and stuff like that, right? But at least the type of gameplay in War Thunder doesn't rely that much on perfect latency or perfect ping. First-person shooters are a bit different. First-person shooters rely a lot on a proper, well, lack of problems with ping and connections. As such, if these games are held on the same servers as on War Thunder, that might be a big problem when it comes to hit registration. But let's not theorize too much because, well, we haven't really seen any gameplay yet, have we? Now, at the moment there are no plans to add play-controlled vehicles, although if the community is interested, that might be an option in the future. The system requirements are held low, as is typical Gaijin fashion. They want to reach as much of an audience as possible, especially with their main audience being in Russia. And, well, The current meme being that Russian PCs aren't all that great. Now this is a crowd-funded project, which is why this project was announced by Gaijin. In fact, you can currently purchase a couple of different packs, including weapons, including a couple of the campaigns, or even including early access if you want to pay for the maximum pack. We're going to talk about the problems with that a little bit later on. Now, each campaign, as I said before, is purchased individually. It's apparently going to be appearing as a whole different game, each campaign, as it's each game on Steam Early Access. That's where kind of my bells rang. You see, the problem with having games split up like that, where you have to pay for each individual campaign, is that you're going to split up your player base. And given that this is not War Thunder, given that this is a new title, okay, fair enough, it's published by Gaijin, so it's going to have at least the initial following of the War Thunder crowd. If they don't impress very early on, and they don't get the amount of players needed to keep the servers running, having your campaigns separate like that is a huge problem for, well, splitting the community and creating possibilities where some of the campaigns, for example, can be just not very good and then as a consequence be completely ignored by the community and as such die. That game just dies, essentially. On top of that, they're also selling collectible weapons as microtransactions. In fact, some of the packs that we can currently back in the crowdfunding project, yeah, you can buy weapons for anything between 7 to 12 euros, and those packs don't even grant access to the game. So essentially just buying skins, digital skins, for a game you cannot even access if you don't pay even more. That's really shitty. That's actually really shitty in my eye. That's next level microtransaction type. That's actually scary. Now, of course, I might be completely wrong. Of course, this is just a crowdfunding project for now. They need money to develop the game. But if they're already starting out asking money for weapons that you cannot even use if you just buy those weapons, if you just spend that money, so essentially you're throwing money away, I'm scared for what this might mean for the future of the game itself. In fact, the minimum you have to pay to even be able to play the game is 20 euros, which grants you access to the Battle of Moscow campaign and the Mosin rifle. These prices are a bit exorbitant. In fact, if you even want early access, you have to pay 50 euros, which grants you access to 2 campaigns, 3 guns and a title in War Thunder. 50 euros for 2 campaigns, 3 guns and a title in War Thunder. That's a lot. That is a lot. That's what I would expect in prices from a free-to-play game. From a tier 4 premium pack in War Thunder. Not from a game that isn't free-to-play from the get-go, that you have to pay to get into and have to buy individual campaigns. So overall, I'm skeptical. I am very skeptical at the moment. See, the problem with making this kind of game, making a first-person World War II shooter game at the moment, is that there is so much competition. You have Red Orchestra, you have the Insurgency Day of Infamy mod, you have the upcoming Battalion 1944, you have Heroes and Generals, which is a free-to-play game. There are so many World War II first-person shooters games going on right now. It's kind of the resurgence of the old 2000er days, where you had just a big amount of World War II shooters, and then everything just kind of died off because there was a saturation of the market. We are starting to see a resaturation of this market of World War II shooters. And for this title to even stand a chance in this market, they really will have to impress very early on. Now, I'm not saying that they cannot do that. The concept sounds interesting, at least at base level. But without any gameplay, any real gameplay being shot at the moment, without, well, any proper information, and with the system which from the get-go separates the community, they really have to make an awesome game. I'm not seeing this going too far myself. especially with a studio that doesn't really seem to have any experience with first-person shooters games. If I can, I'm going to see if I can get some access to it. If I can get early access to it, I am going to show you guys, of course, some gameplay and a proper review of the game once that is available. But for now, well, we're just in the dark. And that's pretty much my first impression of this, well, can I call it game? Project. Let's call it project. Now, what do you guys think? I mean, it does sound interesting having a game that's developed by former Gaijin developers, that's published by Gaijin Entertainment, that's in the same setting as War Thunder, World War II, and, well, that's a tactical first-person slash third-person slash MMO shooter thingy. But right from the get-go, I'm seeing a lot of problems that I would rather not see on a project like this. Mainly just the exorbitant prices of exorbitant prices of packs that don't even grant you access to the games. And the split of the community with different campaigns that you have to purchase individually. But hey, I might be wrong. You guys tell me your opinions in the comment section down below. But that's it for my first impressions of Enlisted. If you do agree with any of these points, do help the channel out by leaving a like, subscribe if you're new around here, and check back tomorrow for a video on the patch notes of 1.65. Until then, I'll see you guys when I see you guys. My name's MikeGoesBoom, and thank you for watching.
You can lift your head up to the sky, take a deeper breath and give it time. You can walk the path among the lines, with your shattered frame of mind. Or instead you could always stay, we can wait right here and play, until somehow you can find a slight